On match day 25, we played against a very physical team away in Benidorm, and my previous match's accomplishments meant nothing. I needed to show that I could be consistent.
Good quality.
Being honest, I had a very naive mental approach to this game. I assumed that everything was going to go as smoothly as it did against Calp the weekend before, but the truth is that football is never the same week to week. The players that you play with change, the players that you play against change, and the feelings and the moments in the match are always different. The team that we played against this week didn't try to play out of the back much, meaning that it was harder for us to press the ball and win it in advanced areas. They went long, they went direct from goal kicks from their centre-backs into more physical players, and they did better than us at winning the first and the second balls on many, many occasions. They also pressed us high. So when we did have the ball in our own half, a lot of the time we were fearful to play out of the back. We didn't play with the confidence, the trust and assurance that we did against Calp. Many times, being honest, I allowed myself to become frustrated because we were going long and the ball would come straight back towards us. We were also incredibly sloppy in possession when we did receive the ball and break the first press. When you go for long periods during matches when you don't really see much of the ball, and if you do, it's just little toe pokes and it's just little flicks trying to put in tackles and trying to intercept. When you do receive the ball in positive situations, in moments where you can keep possession for your team or play forwards, often it's easier to rush. A lot of us fell into the trap of rushing as soon as we received the ball back, and that made it so much easier for the other team to dictate the tempo of the game and to dictate how the game went. Often in the moments where we did calm the ball down, where we did retain possession in decent areas of the pitch, our quality of passing and our decision making was poor, as this pass back to Rowe is behind him and Rowe takes a little bit longer than he should do on the ball. Dale then doesn't have the options that he needs and ends up giving the ball away in a dangerous area of the pitch. I was also guilty of making mistakes in possession in the first half and rushing too much here as I intercept the ball and play a pass to no one, really. Eventually, Benidorm tried to play forwards and they decide to recycle possession. Our team recognises that it's a good moment to press and Paco does well to squeeze in from the left-hand side. The ball then finds its way to my feet once again and I try to play a first-time pass, but once again, not with enough quality. The better decision in this moment would have probably been simply to retain the ball. We hadn't had high quality possession of the football in a long time and we wanted to regain control over the game. But as many of the other players on our team did, I rushed it and I gave up the ball way too cheaply. Benidorm had a lot of success during this match simply by going long from goal kicks. They won the first ball and they battled harder for the second ball. And they put us under some real pressure simply by being direct and whipping crosses into the box. I don't do great here as I get drawn towards the ball as it's played back to one of their attackers and I leave my man, leaving Jean with two people, making it harder for him to mark the person that the ball eventually ends up going to. In the first half especially, we were very much limited to attacking chances through luck or through hitting channels by being direct, but that didn't come to any kind of positive ending for us, as often it was simply Alex, our striker, up against 2, 3, maybe even 4 defenders, and the ball was more often than not swept up by the opposition defence. Funnily enough, this was probably our best chance of the first half, as I intercept the ball and play a first-time pass to Henry, who does very well to lose 2 markers. Raf takes a touch out of his feet and strikes the ball from just in front of the halfway line, and you can't quite see it here, but he ends up hitting the crossbar from that far out. Granted, it was a brilliant strike, but the fact that that was our best chance of the first half says a lot about the way that we were playing. There were many moments in the game like this where we do the first bit well, we win the ball back. I manage to shield the ball and find our advanced right midfielder. He turns, but makes a poor decision as it's a 4v4 in our favour ahead of him, but he chooses to dribble into 3 men. We then recycle the ball, find the left-hand side, but once again, we give up possession of the football very cheaply. I switch the ball out to the right-hand side, but everyone leaves the ball. The fullback doesn't step onto it, the centre mid doesn't take control, and ahead of you, which you cannot see in this picture, there was also a winger who does not drop to receive. 3 players could have received it, but no one did. And this was a perfect example of a moment that really frustrated me as I find Dale, our left centre-back. I get on the ball once more and hit a switch across the flank, but he is on his heels and allows the ball to run out of play. In moments, I really felt as if I was playing alone on the pitch, as I didn't feel like other people wanted to play football. I try to recycle the ball here and get us into an okay position where we have good possession of the ball. I'm eager to get on the ball again, but obviously the quality of this passing to me is very poor. I react well though, and I managed to win the ball back from not just one, but two defenders, but hold the ball slightly too long before I play the pass through to the striker, and he's called offside. I respond incredibly badly to the mistake from our centre-back though, and this is something that I need to look at myself for. In this moment, I'll be honest, I completely lost my head. I turned around and screamed at my centre-back, which is not something that any player needs to receive. He's fully aware that he's just made a mistake. He's fully aware that he just played a poor pass. But I allowed my emotions and my frustration with how the general game was going, my frustration with the lack of opportunities that I had to get on the ball, to spill over and to affect my teammates. A good leader understands how to use emotion, how to use communication in positive and effective ways. Screaming at someone for making a mistake, unless you know that they respond to it well, which my fellow teammate did not, is never a good option. Walking in at halftime, I reflected on my mistake and extended my hand to my teammate to apologise to him. That being said, it was clear that something needed to change, and our manager, Dean, told us exactly what it was. Our coach made it very clear at halftime that you can lose football matches, it can happen, but if you are to lose, at least play your football, at least play with some bravery, with some chest, with the knowledge that you try to play your game. In the first half, we didn't really try to play. We played with fear. We went long to try to avoid mistakes, rather than being brave on the ball to try to play the football that we know we can. During the second half, I was much more intent on getting on the ball as often as possible, dropping in between the two centre halves here to get on the ball and try to increase the ball speed, moving it quite simply here from side to side. Dale again finds me, and I find Rory once more on the right hand side of the pitch, and he does very well to step in and play a little reverse pass with his left foot. He finds Raf, who cuts back, and finds Henry more infield, who again draws his man in and loses him, making him chase shadows. Finds a really good pass into Paco's feet. So we've done the first bit really, really well. We played out of pressure, and then we simply overcomplicate the game. That being said, at least we tried to play football here, as I demand the ball from our keeper, and I tried to get us moving. Play a little 1-2 with Henry, but I was not faultless in the second half either, as I give the ball away once there, win it back, and then give it away once more, as I try to overplay and end up striking it straight into an opposition defender. In general though, in the second half, our appetite for risk increased, and our desire to play out of the back did as well here, as I'm able to find our winger with a left-footed pass. Bounce. Dale then makes a little mistake as he struggles to clear it and pulls back the opposition striker, who goes down so easily for a man of his size. But welcome to Spain. We know how to play this game and we know how they play it. We should be used to this by now. After starting the second half so brightly and in a much better way than we did the first, we concede a chance out of nothing and the opposition striker puts the penalty away. We're 1-0 down. In this moment, we have absolutely nothing to lose. We're already 1-0 down. If we give away a second goal, then so be it. At least let us try and play football and let us try and create some chances. From then on, I'm incredibly intent on getting on the ball as much as possible. I try to demand the ball from my centre-backs, from my goalkeeper, and start the play myself. In pressing high, Benidorm did make it difficult for us to play through the middle with short passes. As you can see, my centre-mid Raf is quite tightly marked, but it did open up spaces for us to attack down the sides as I hit Noah here with a ping. In this moment, once again, I demand the ball from the goalkeeper and play a little switch out to our wide midfielder Raf, who pops it back. I also was not faultless again, as I received the ball here from Dale and telegraphed the pass way too much and put way too much airtime on the ball. It needed to be a flatter ping to find Emmanuel, who's come on as a right wing back. We then concede a chance and our left back does well to recover and force the ball out for a corner. From the resulting corner, we concede an easy chance and we don't track our men, and we're all of a sudden 2-0 down. After the second goal went in, I was pretty frustrated with how I ended the game. I think there were many moments where I could have been a little bit more positive here, as I take a negative first touch, even though I have no pressure on me in about 5 or 10 yards of space on my back. In this moment, I do well to predict where the pass is going. I put on the brakes, but I make it far too easy for the nutmeg pass to be played straight through my legs. That being said, one thing I can definitely say is that I never shied away from the ball. I still demanded it off my deeper players and still played positive passes forwards, such as this line breaker here. In this moment, I restart the play with a short free kick to my fellow centre-back, receive it, use feet to evade pressure and find Dale, who's playing on the left. He then tries to play a pass through to McKeith, who has a good double movement, but never really tries to sprint to get in behind, and the ball simply runs through to their goalkeeper. So You guys have heard this story plenty of times by now, and I honestly wouldn't blame you if you're a little bit bored of hearing how just 1 or 2 moments really changed the game, how we ended up playing below our potential, how we almost shot ourselves in both feet to lose the game. That being said, I was far from perfect, making a mistake which led to us conceding the corner for the second goal. I also really need to have a think about how my communication impacts the ability of the players around me. If I step on the pitch communicating poorly, getting on people's backs when they make a mistake, how can I expect them to play with freedom, to play with confidence, and for us as a team to play at our best? The answer is simply that I cannot. And so from this game, I took away that I really need to make sure that I regulate that emotional control, regulate the way that I communicate to my teammates as I grow in confidence, arrogance, and cockiness on the pitch to demand the ball from my teammates myself. It was a brilliant lesson of finding the balance between my self-confidence, my self-belief growing, and that being reflected in the way that I play, while still being someone who takes care of my teammates, takes care of the people around me to facilitate the team's performance on an emotional and a mental level. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever experienced similar frustrations with your teammates, and if you did, how you managed to deal with them. For now though, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, and definitely subscribe to the channel for more content coming soon. A frustrating day where my teammates made mistakes, where I made mistakes, but a day where you need to find a way to reflect on those moments and learn from them. Ballers, find a way.